Welcome back to the Dashing Investor YouTube channel, where we're all about positivity and finding new ways to make more money with DoorDash. So yeah, today guys, we're going to talk about how to ride the DoorDash algorithm for increased earnings. And how do we do that? Let me go ahead and throw this disclaimer out there. This probably is not for you cherry pickers. This is for people like top dashers and other people that's in the little tier programs that try to keep their acceptance rate over 70%. Because quite frankly, to ride the algorithm, you need to be able to work with the algorithm. And cherry picking is the exact opposite of working with the DoorDash algorithm. So yeah, this is for the top dashers. This is for the people who try to stay over 70% in the tier programs. So quite frankly, that's what this is. Cherry pickers, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so that's the first step of writing the algorithm for better earnings, keeping your acceptance rate over 70%. That's the very most important first step of writing the algorithm. Now, let's go into some other factors that has to do with writing the algorithm for increased earnings. And that is to know when to, what parts of the day is the best parts of the day to ride the algorithm. I mean, we all know lunch and dinner is the best times to ride the algorithm, somewhere between that 11 and 2, and that probably somewhere between 5 to 9, depending on your market, but usually it falls somewhere between there. And then breakfast can be good sometimes also between that, like 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Could be pretty good sometimes too. So you want to try to dash in those time slots for the best earnings. But we're going to dig a little bit deeper on other things that you need to look for increased earnings. And let's jump right on into what times of the month is the best times to DoorDash for increased earnings. And that is, you need to spot when is payday for your town. Like in my town, I'm in a military town. So around that 1st and 15th, definitely want to be on the road during those times. That first through the 4th and that 15th through the 19th, and lots of times even the day before payday, it's very good in my town. So like if you're in a town where Fridays, most people get paid on Fridays, hey, you need to be on that road on Fridays, maybe even Thursday. So that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that Monday, you need to be on the road. Or if you're in a town with a lot of factories, you need to find out when those factories get paid, and you need to be on the road on that like 4 to 5 day slot around their payday. That's very, very important that you need to spot. So that kind of goes along with the breakfast, lunch, dinner brackets, but you definitely need to find out when do people get paid in your town, and you need to be working on those days. Now, we all love to get these type of orders here on the screen. We love that. That's like no brainer. You know, you take those type of orders and you're going to get earnings. But what do you do when you're not getting those type of orders? Because those orders are not going to come all the time, especially when it's not around payday. So what do you do? Well, you want to start looking for that dollar per mile orders. And sometime, guys, you may even want to accept an order that's, hey, going, say, 8 miles, and you're only getting paid $7. You know, again, that goes back how to ride the algorithm, because it may be that time of the month where most of the orders are those type orders. Now, they'll probably mix in the good orders in there too. You'll get there, but it may be that off week. Like here, again, in my town, probably around that 7th through the 13th or 14th. And then that 21st, around that 28th, 29th, maybe 30th of the month. That's our off weeks in my military town. So now, of course, I still want to get those great orders, accept those great orders, but I won't be getting a lot of those great orders. So guess what, guys? I'm going to have to look for those I'm going to have to take those dollar per mile. So if it's going 10 miles for $10 on those off weeks, yeah, I'm going to take those orders. Sometimes if it's going, say, 8 miles and I'm only getting paid $7, I may have to take that order to go ahead and make some earnings. And I'll know once I start my day, really pay attention to what kind of orders are you getting. And another part of that, if you're sitting for longer than you usually sit. So in my town, if I come back and I'm sitting there, because in my town, usually I get another order right after the last order. But if I find myself sitting 10 and 15 minutes, and then I get an order for, say, $8, and it's going 9 miles, and I've sat for 15 minutes, I'm going to accept that order because I know it's that time of the month or that type of day that I need to accept that type of order. So again, that goes back to knowing your market and how to ride the algorithm. Now, if it's during, say, a peak around where everybody's getting paid and it's dinner time or even lunchtime, I'm not going to accept an order like that. But if it's one of those off weeks, I very well may take an order like that. Especially if it's not during the lunch or dinner time. And again, I may go ahead and accept that order even during lunch or dinner time if it's not around running during them payday weeks. So again, guys, a really big thing everybody kind of knows about the lunch, breakfast, dinner time slot, especially dinner. That's your, just so all you beginning people out there, dinner time is your very best slot to work. That 5 to 9 slot is like that's when everybody's ordering for their family. They charge the most at restaurants for dinner, entrees, and that gives the best chance to get those bigger tips. So you definitely want to work during dinner time. But again, how to really ride that algorithm, you want to find out when everybody's being paid in your town. So just kind of find out what kind of town you are. If you're a military town, you know it's around the 1st and 15th. If you spot where you find out everybody kind of gets paid on that Friday, well, you need to find out, you need to know like that Thursday to Monday. If everybody gets paid every Friday, around that Thursday to Monday, you need to be working, because that's when everybody has money, and that's when they're gonna, quite frankly, be spending money on DoorDash. And if you're in a town with a lot of factories and a lot of them get paid on a certain time of the month, find out when that time of the month is, because you need to be working during that time to increase those earnings. And then the off weeks, you throw in a different type of strategy. And that's when you go to, again, of course, you're going to accept the good orders. Of course, you're going to accept those. But then on those off weeks, you need to back down and say, hey, yeah, I'm just going to take those dollar per miles. I may take a $9 going 9 miles. I may even take a $8 going 9 miles. But again, don't go taking those terrible orders. Do not take a $3 order going 10 miles. You never want to take that, because now you're just straight up losing money. So even when you get some good orders in there, they may not make up for those really terrible orders that you accepted. But if you're going $1 per mile, that 9 miles for $9, or that 9 miles for $8, but then you got a few of them good orders falling in there to kind of make up for those other little ones that quite didn't make that $1 per mile, hey, that's fine. you know, especially on those off weeks. Now, on payday weeks and paydays and all of that, hey, push those kind of orders to the side and look for those good orders, hopefully paying $1.50 to $2 per mile and up. That's when you want to kind of accept that, as long as you're not going under 70%. Again, this is all about riding the algorithm. In other words, AKA also known as working with the algorithm. And the only way you can work with the algorithm these days is staying over 70% acceptance rate. So that's, again, back to that. That's step one. So again, cherry pickers, I've never been a cherry picker, so I'm not going to sit here and speak on the subject. If you want to do cherry picking, you need to go to another YouTuber that cherry picks a lot, and multi-apps and dirty app and all of that. Go to somewhere else. I'm just strictly on how to work with DoorDash and increase these earnings that way. So that's just some things you want to remember. So just a quick backup, quick cover the points that I've covered today. Again, you want to look for that breakfast, lunch, dinner hours. Dinner is better, and then lunch, and then breakfast. And then you also want to spot your payday times of the month. And then once you spot those payday times of the month, that'll tell you what type of orders you need to accept. Around payday, you can just sit back and accept all the juicy orders as you want. But those off weeks and those off days that's far from the payday, where everybody has the money, again, it's basic. You know, when people have money, they're going to spend more. When they don't have the money, they're not going to spend as much because they don't have the money to spend. So again, you want to spot those when people are getting paid, and then you'll know what strategy you want to use from that point. Around payday, accept the juicy orders, push off some of them dollar per mile type orders, and definitely those upside down orders, push them to the side. Now, if it's kind of the off week and you're just sitting there, you find yourself sitting there, hey, you're going to got to go ahead and take those dollar per miles, and even those upside down ones, like going 9 miles and only getting paid $8. And then, but hopefully you get some good orders sprinkled in there, and that kind of helps make up for those, and you end up with a pretty good paying day. Last thing you want to do is, being an off week and you still thinking you're going to get all these good orders, that's just not going to come. They're just not going to come. So you're going to sit there wasting hours, sitting in your car, not making money, maybe rejecting to the point now you're under 70%. Now the algorithm is going to send you even more garbage because you didn't went under 70%. Now your acceptance rate is going even lower. Now you're just going into that black hole where now you just didn't make any money that day. So again, this is how you ride the algorithm to make more money. Spot when people are making the most money of the month. And that's during each individual day, and also what parts of the month, what parts are people being paid, what days people are being paid, and then you'll know what strategy that you go to, that you need to use from that point. So yeah, guys, this is how you ride the algorithm to increase earnings. And this is how I make my money, how I make good money from doing DoorDash. Just knowing how to ride this algorithm, know what orders to accept during what parts of the month. So yeah, guys, once again, it's been fun. But as always, especially in this game of DoorDash and as in life, please stay positive out there. Please stay consistent on any goals that you set for yourself. Lock down on those goals. Become obsessed, become a psycho with those goals. Don't let nobody stop you from reaching them goals. No family, no friends, no strangers, nobody on social media, and especially don't get in the way of your own goals. And That's a rule to live by, guys. You stick to that, you're going to go far. But once again, guys, it's been fun. I want y'all to be safe out there. And as always, keep getting this